thank you guys, and thank you everyone for joining today. So today we'll be going through the some of the recent updates from Salesforce about the Salesforce Headless 360, and trying to learn more on the some MCP tools, the approach, how we are connecting Salesforce Headless 660, and variety of ways, how we can utilize the platform in new way. So again, this is a hands-on workshop, and most of the details are already sent out to you guys on the event page. Uh, but I'll go through step by step here as much as possible. Uh, but again, those workshops are available for till September. So if you don't have time right now, you can hop on later. You can spin up all those steps and try to utilize and try to experience that. Okay, so it's pretty much agenda is I'll start with some slides. We'll go through introducing the headless 360, get to know what is 360 headless 360, how it opens up the Salesforce to working with the agents across the platform. So the goal here is like not just a Salesforce is a your workspace. Your workspace can be anything like a Slack. It can be any chatbot or any open chat tool. So that's how we're gonna utilize the power of Salesforce data through this headless 360 and MCP servers in different interfaces. And then we'll learn basically from the traditional application platform how we basically use this agentic approach using the same foundation, using the APIs, using MCP tools, some of the AI native tooling. So that's how we're gonna just go through some of the slides first, and then we'll go through the workshops. Okay, so workshop is split into multiple tracks. So the primary workshop is on the more on headless 360 and enabling MCP server, creating some MCP server and consuming those. And the secondary part is more on the agent force vibes. So we have seen agent force vibes in our one of our previous meetups, but now we're talking about IDE, which is a pretty much web browser based agent force vibes IDE, which is similar as a Visual Studio Code, but it's hosted in browser and can be launched from your console itself. So that's a different experience. Okay, so all like the whole era is changing on agentic AI, and so we've been building the applications on the waterfall. We moved from waterfall to agile, and now we are moving to the agentic era. So the mindset is shifting. So I mean, you might have seen in your company, your job works. Everybody's trying to utilize even for the productivity or maybe in number of ways consume those. So we build softwares for agents, not just like the same way we using for the humans. Like you go there, click, open, get the data. So it's a little different. So every user interface or view should be accessible, not just like a human specific. So the same should be served into a different experience. So earlier, like we have responsive mobile and all those, but now we have to think about agents and how they can surface there. So that's the era shift. Uh, so we don't know yet the split between human and agentic work, right? So, but where it will land. So the platform should be ready. So our goal is to make sure overall platform should be ready, no matter. Can you help them? Yeah. So overall, you have to take approach. Your platform should serve those use cases in future, not immediately. And that's the shift mindset where how you want to picture this, how you want to expose it out. So those are the variety ways we need to basically think about those. Hey, so more people coming in. Welcome, guys. So we just started. It's a first first slide, yeah, we're just talking about how your mindset is shifting from our waterfall agile to agentic way of approach of building softwares, and we want to make sure our systems are ready for any kind of view, which can be ready for agents or humans and all those things. So that's so basically the nature of work is also changing from uh, the way we just use purely deterministic to it's more on problematic, probabilistic. So that's how we look at it. So that's a mindset shift. And then again, so the agents also have changed totally, right? The way they work is done. So even if you have seen the how the AI agent evolution happened, so every role has a different shift or touch. So the developers ship a complete agent in the days, not a months. So architects has to design, orchestrate agents across the platform. So they have to think in perspective of agents. Admins has to configure solutions without writing a line of code, and then everyone can turn domain expertise into a working agent. So let's say my business has some ideas, they can pretty much spin up. So that's a shift for each role, how it's happening. uh, and then again, uh, so the agents are like a future concept, I can say, how work is get done today in a client, browser, and command line. So that's the, I mean, we talk about interfaces, and then uh, so when we talk about Salesforce, right, Salesforce is well positioned like a API first from the beginning. So you have seen Salesforce has a pretty much approach where it is pretty much open API oriented, and then have some standards, and then they also started like a mindset of fully rebuild on CLI, CLI way or command prompt and all. So that's how the foundation works that way. So goal of this session is basically make sure everyone clearly understand how this works under the hood, and how we take up advantage when it comes to the your agentic use case. Okay. So what is headless 360? So headless 360, I I think they announced into last TDX. If you have attended TDX, you might have, yeah, you might have seen a lot of talks on this. But now it's in GA. It's ready to work and ready to use it, and that's why they started these workshops with all the community groups. They're putting a lot of content so people can have hands-on experience and get started on that. So overall, so Headless 360 brings Salesforce to every agent, every app, and every experience. So far you might have seen like a mobile app or website, which is bringing some, but now we're talking about if your teams, you have Slack, you have maybe your company provided kind of a agentic workspace or cloud, you're using whatever it is, so you can bring that in any of this experience. So basically it opens our architecture to any agents via APIs, MCP tools, skills, and then CLI commands. So that's combinedly the workshop we're gonna go. So it talks about each section and how they works, right? Um, so the basically users get those rich set of data when they see the output, not just like a chatbot kind of a text. Have integrated experience, so you can. So I guess one of the workshop steps, like once you connect, you can pretty much do SQL queries and find out your metadata and try to understand the field set and how those are related. There are lot on that. So those kind of things, and again, uh, whether it's a Salesforce or Slack or Cloud or Teams, I mean, you'll see the similar way of approaching and getting the out from Salesforce. So that's the headless 360 is. Um, and again, the important thing is like while this architecture works with all those different interfaces, So the underlying governance platform, which is inherited from the Salesforce Foundation, and that's the core, right? The identity, observability, security, and those compliances. So those remain intact. So that's why it is very important to understand what goes where and how you utilize it. And slowly, most of the companies will be adapting, because if you want to build agentic use cases, I mean, I'm just telling my example. So agent force, we did like a whole kind of a illuminate project, and we come up with saying, okay, we want to do 10 these things, but we have to spend like almost $3 million to buy the licenses to build. So that got scrapped. We use a copilot, we use abacus for company wide. So now we are opening a different way, so we don't have to buy something in Salesforce. We basically integrate that and try to get most out of it, not everything, but at least the small use cases. So that's how we are looking. So this really opens up in a big time, not just like a you connect system with OAuth and get the data, but this is more like a you have your tools, you have your all those metadata, and your all agentic use cases. You can bring it through this 360 headless 360. Okay, so any questions so far? I'm going a little faster on the screens, but pause me if any questions. Okay, so okay, so you might have seen this slide many times. So this is a stack, right? Where Salesforce wide, where it sits, right, where they want to see um, the high level. I mean, not necessarily you're using all the components here, uh, but this is more like a in ecosystem of Salesforce. Yeah, they probably pretty much likely to have a context of how their foundation works, like the data 360, customer 360. That's your core where CRM sits there. But on top of it, it can be Agentforce, it can be Slack, it can be Tableau, it can be your Microsoft Teams, it can be your one of uh, the cloud-based, the AI agentic engine. So it can be anything. And then at the bottom line, you can see the AI trust layer that when it tracks, so that is Salesforce Foundation. And then it can connect to any of this open source, what you can see on the screen. Um, so basically these systems are just for the foundation for agentic enterprise. The context remains certainly for the headless 360, but the record surfaces through unique business apps and logics through the up and down. So the core 360 is your actually system of records, right? That's where everything sits, and then the other systems are interacting in multiple ways, like APIs or MCPs and all. So that's how the foundation looks at. Not necessarily you have to buy everything and put it there, but this is just a high level approach. Salesforce putting it here. Okay. Um, so again, you can see it opens up for agents can now have be the primary use case in our platform, and you can work with every Salesforce product, tool, workflow. So you can use like any kind of agents which is on cloud, ChatGPT, Gemini, Codex, and it can take a whole without compromising much. So you can just bring the all those metadata, data, everything through these kind of interfaces. So that's the idea of headless 360, and it also has its own. It inherits its governance from the connectivity, the runtime, all the authorization, access, all the guardrails, no matter where you're calling from. So that within the Salesforce. So that's the one of the big advantage. Okay. So now, so you can see two types of agents, right? I mean, that's high level. We categorize the coding agents and then runtime agents. The coding agents can help you to build the system, which is like live in your ID. So can operate on code, metadata, developer tools like deployment and all those things. You turn your developer intent into the working software. So that's the kind of a coding agent is. So one of the example is like a Agentforce Vibe. That's a Salesforce product. But if you have used Cloud Code or Codex, they do the pretty much same. So those are the coding agents where we take power up metadata, coding, programming, everything, and help developers to develop the softwares in a productive way. And then another is the runtime agents. So runtime agents run basically the system once it's built. So basically, it's live in production, operates on business data, customer requests, and a live workflow. So it's more on, if you're asking few things, it's going to trigger few automations and help you to execute those. So basically, turn customer intent into business outcomes. That's the theme for the runtime agents. The example can be your customer support agents, right? So they can work with chatbot and get a lot of ways to solve your agent the incoming questions or request and without wasting a lot of time. So in one of the use case we are building in my company is like we are using Genesis for our call centers, and then we are using Salesforce for CRM. And most of the phone call comes on Genesis. They don't have the context on what is going, who's the customer, what's going. So we are integrating that, and we are bringing everything to Salesforce. And when it brings up, so we're using Genesis AI agent. Within that, it does a lot of sentiment analysis, how the conversation is going, what is the context on, what is not. And it is using some of the tools in Salesforce trying to find out if you're talking about orders, so it will bring up that customer's details, orders, without clicking. It will log a call automatically. So it says like every call, just for looking up that order, it saves 35 seconds. And other, like creating case, so it saves almost like a minute. So if you took the volume of that, it's big, ROI on that. So those kind of small things you can think about this runtime agents, right? Okay, so what's next?
I have one question around runtime.
Yeah.
Do you have any reporting agents also available?
So reporting agent in the sense like um, bring the report, or you build the report?
Writing, say, live reports or dashboards in Salesforce. So a lot of times we do that activity manually.
So for reporting, I mean, Salesforce has its own analytics tools and analytics products, which are agentic nowadays. And you can, if you're using those like Tableau, right? Tableau is the one good example. If you're using Tableau, so they have a lot of AI capabilities which can help you to do, those things. But yeah, um, but if you're not using any BI or analysis tool within Salesforce ecosystem, then like again, I'll give my example of my company. So we use Abacus.ai, which is our foundational AI product we use, and on top of it, our company builds all those enterprise AI tool use cases like agents or chatbot or maybe just a reporting. So it helps on all the reporting needs. So it doesn't have to be structured analysis report. So we give this power to every sales guy. So hey, go to strongtie.ai, connect Salesforce using your account, and then you ask whatever you want to build. It will build for you. So it will get the data, it will slice and dice, it will make a nice fancy dashboard, and you can run it, or you can share and all those things. So it depends on all. Yeah, but for your core analytics requirement, yeah, you need to have that product, and most of the products are supporting those. Okay.
I think it's given table format and then PDF is given, not exactly the reporting.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like the analysis reports he's asking. So yeah.
Live reports.
Yeah.
In today's workshop, what we build at the end, we generate a lot of those kind of analytics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in works this workshop, it's a easy use cases. But if you're looking at like a company wide, like all the dashboarding and reporting, so that's huge. And that's so you need to not just think about your use case. So you need to have that analytic tool. Okay, so how it works, right? So um, even using ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud is technically using an agent. Okay, that's what it at the end. So AI agent, basically an agent, to host an application, a large LLM model. So and then MCP client that connects to the. Uh, so basically, you have AI agents, which can be your choice of AI agent: Cloud, Gemini, ChatGPT, or your agent force. And then it basically uses the MCP servers to, you know, connect how you basically talk to the systems. So MCP is like a model context protocol. If you haven't experienced it, but this is like a how you interact with system before is API, right? So now this is a new way to interact with the system, which can interact with the agents actually, not systems. So agent can talk to any system of records using the MCP tools and MCP servers. So that's the protocol. Um,
And these MCPs are hosted on Salesforce, right?
yeah, so you have to create those servers into a whichever system you want to expose it out to any agents. So as soon as you have this MP servers, and then you any agent want to basically interact, so they can interact with your MCP servers.
Yeah, but that MCP server is not in our network, right? It is the Salesforce MCP
Yeah,
server.
you can host it the way you want, but this is we're talking about Salesforce hosted MCP servers. So we'll create one server and we'll see how that consumes, what data it consumes. So yeah, you can build your custom. You can or use, like if you're using ServiceNow, they have their own. You can publish their natively. But this is like a how agents will talk to system. They will talk to through these MCP agents, MCPs. Okay, and then basically it wraps the authentication and the security around. So for that system, that's core, right? The way API does. So similarly, so so what is the difference versus traditional API integration in here? So it adds, agentic metadata. It's not just like a the raw data, right? It adds agentic metadata telling the agent when and how to use an API or application. So that's the change. I mean, that's the context. That's why they call model context protocol. And it adds rules, guardrails around the whole journey, right? So if you're, I mean, doing specifically for like based on the user context also, it keeps that context together. So so that's the way you connect and talk. And then basically now MCP servers, they have in different ways, right? So the data MCP is written the context. You can fetch the data and bring it back to the agent. So process MCPs are like a performs the work, like it changes the state, updates the data, maybe create some records, maybe run some automation, or maybe interact with systems. So those are like, we just categorizing those MCPs. And then the next one is experience MCP, which is like a returns the rendered content. Like now instead of just a text, it will be written some tabular format, rich text data, some interactive interface instead of just a generic text. So that's how these the MCPs are categorized. Um, and then the last piece here, like the Salesforce org, right? So where the actual data is hosted and it basically interacts and with the agent through this MCP. So that's how is the journey. And again, data MCPs will talk to CRM data and data 360, and which is the metadata and data. So the top part, and then process MCP is more like flows, Apex, and APIs. So they will be interacting with those. And the experience API is like a headless experience layer for custom user experience. So you might have seen the React way of building the interface and more variety ways. So talking about that, and then access control spams all of it. So external client apps, which is we're gonna create one. The field level security, so that rolls up the way it is, and it all inherits the permission model we already have in trust. So that's how the whole uh, journey works here. So hope it's clear how it's going to work, how what is the underlying. So it's idea to just digest it a little bit when you see what is MCP server you're trying to create, so you know which one you're creating is data specific or process specific or experience specific. Okay. And then okay, so this is where it should be. Okay, yeah. So again, Salesforce has invested in last 25 years on the AI, just like a not just the latest consumer, right? So they are doing, in past they started with Einstein and so many things and back and forth. So they are continuously doing that. So API first, they, I guess that's long back they put it. So this is just a Salesforce marketing slide. So metadata as a code, unified CLI, and then API first approach. So yeah, I'll skip this. Um, okay, so what we're really seeing here is the so basically most of the logic is just going in fast friction, right? So so you have some idea, you put it into your agentic way, and then you basically get most of the data in real fashion and real quick. So again, so this is another foundation slide. I will just skip this. This is again talking about the how Salesforce look into variety of their stack and their foundation. Okay, again, we can build with any agent. So that's what we're talking about. It can be execute using the platform hosted MCP servers or pre-built, I mean, skills. I mean, so Salesforce has given some pre-built skills, which we're gonna look into that. So when you're looking into Headless 360, right? So they have put a lot of MCP tools. They have put a lot of skills. Some of the commands are already there, so they baked everything so that you can build with any type of agents we already use, and you just take it further. So as I said, vibes, cloud code, and the codex. So those all can be easily used here. Okay. Again, this is GA now. So this is another slide where we're looking at the this is the for the admins, right? So in so they are bringing this workspace for admins, which can be agentic way. So this is in GA. I think you might have experienced TDX, but can do setup intelligent way, admin first approach, and there are a lot of use cases, kind of a chat GPT way, the interface coming up. These are just like a few things uh, coming up, or maybe already in beta or GA. Again, this is for agentic UI service that delivers context and Salesforce, where you can bring the rich content for the UI. So this is for the view type of experience. And then again, multi-framework, standard framework, which is the UI framework, which is the what do we have? This Lightning, and um, just built on Aura. So there you can use it React, Node, pretty much all those UI frameworks. So that's how they are shifting the only Lightning. Aura basically is like a framework to open framework. So that's the, again, this is in GA. So that is something you can pretty much experience. So there are some workshops or some sessions available online. Some of the other Trailblazer communities, they run the React session um, last month. So you can take a look into that, how to build those React apps and throw it here using this multi UI framework approach. Okay, so that's pretty much it about the Headless 360. What we're gonna see, how it works, what it not. I hope at least you get some context, and then we're gonna deep dive into the workshop. So for the workshop, um, I think I have sent the links already in the my event, but you can go to this org, sfdc.co, and then open your org, and you can sign up using this access code workshop. So I'll switch from presentation to uh, the actual workshop mode. Okay. Okay, and online, just let me know if you have any questions. You can go ahead and follow the. Let me open up the actual links, and then you can start going through that. Okay. So I'm putting the links in chat. Uh, oops. So this is the guide. If who are online, they can open this guide, and that has all most of the instructions. Okay. So let me stop the sharing. So if you already signed up, so there's a way to get your access back without creating new. So just put your details, and then it will send you email. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. Let me just. Okay, my trick is not working, so I need to do it here only. I'm trying to open both in one screen, and so that I can walk side by side. Okay, and now I will try to do some sharing. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right? Okay, let me switch this to. Mhm. Okay, it's visible, right? Online, it's visible. Okay, so on the left side, you see the instructions. Getting started. Okay, let me open getting started. Okay, so let me know if you don't have any links or anything. Everybody got the link for the workshop and for the org. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with the first exercise, which is basically, if you look at this workshop here, exploring the Salesforce Headless MCPs, which has almost three exercises, and then the second part is build with agent first vibes. So that has a couple. So we might do few of these agent force vibes, but we'll try to finish most of them top. Okay. So let me try to log in. So I already have done, so I'm gonna walk you through updating, changing, and you can just follow along. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a little difficult to use one screen. Okay. So I'm in org. Hopefully everybody is on this org, logged in. So the very first step is basically we have to go to your user profile, and then we need to update some of the email for your user. Okay, so that's easy one. So you just go to your org, go to use setup, and then open a user, which is in the main user. Okay, so I guess it's slow a little bit, but it's fine. Okay, so you will see your main user, system administrator, which starts with Epic org form. So just go ahead and update the correct email address, because it's going to send some confirmation or some communication later. That's why you need to just go ahead and update this. So I'll just already updated. So you can go edit, change this, whatever the email address existing there, remove that and add your valid email address. Okay, that's, and save the record. So that's step one. Hope everybody is following along.
It says page is not found.
Page is not found. I mean, are you on in your org?
No, you do refresh again.
Yeah, try refreshing. Reload it.
Just one of these.
Yeah.
Showing the other one. It's really slow.
Yeah, it's slow. I mean, even when I was doing it in morning, it was very slow. Okay, yeah. So if any issues, just raise your hand and let me know. But I guess it's pretty straightforward here. So once you update, we're gonna go to the next step, which is going to create a external client app. So connected app, have we created connected app, OAuth apps before and all? So this is a new kind of a way where you create an external client app. So it has a multiple stuff, right? Even if you want to do like expose your connectivity through OAuth, we they encourage to use this. um, and then there are lots of it in, so you will see that, but the high level, the underlying mechanism is connecting to API using OAuth, and that's where you need to register this app. It will give you some URL, client ID, secret ID, and instead of using credentials, you're gonna use that and connect to any system. Uh, Make a handshake between these two systems. Okay, so we're gonna create that external client app. That's the next step. So for that, you're gonna go to the setup, um, and then you try the external client app manager. Okay, so I already have created one, but all you need to do is basically create on this new external client app, and it will pop up you the screen, which will ask you a bunch of stuff, right? So you can type in the app name as a workshop MCP client. It will populate the API name, and then so contact email will be your email. So that's what you need to have that for any other communication. And then rest details are pretty standard, we are not changing that. Down here under the API section, so we need to enable OAuth. So this is a mechanism which communicates between two systems, and once we enable it, so it will ask more details. Okay, so the very first is callback URL. So whenever the interaction happens into OAuth way, so the kind of a OAuth flow triggers, so it needs a callback URL. So that's the URL you're gonna paste it from the workshop guide. Okay, and then you're gonna select the scope. Now scope is important. So sometimes, let's say you are creating one app which you want to give only read only access to just to read the data. So the earlier example which I was telling, right? So we use Abacus AI, and lots of people connect to Salesforce to create their dashboards and reports. So we created app which is only having a read only access, and they can use their credentials and access whatever they can access, and just read only matter, and then generate the report. So this is the scope we need to define here. So scope is requested here is like a perform request at any time. That's one you're gonna add, and then you're gonna add access Salesforce hosted MCP servers. Bottom, access Salesforce hosted MCP host. Oops. Okay, so that's the second one. Okay, so once you have this one, the next step is actually under security. So we're done with the this API part here, how the API is going to interact. We define the mechanism, we define the scope, like what is the security level we are setting it there. And then the next is security, right? So where is the security here? Oh, so here only. Yeah, so on this check boxes, right? So basically we're going to uncheck first two, and then we're gonna basically enable this require proof key for code exchange, and then JSON web token. So they're using basically JSON web token flow. That's why is asking to do this two things. So when you set up OAuth has like 8 different flows, how it interacts, how it works, and also it's a different topic to understand. But These are just bunch of settings we are doing to how it's going to interact. So okay, so I think we pretty much set everything here. These two, okay, okay, and then you're gonna create this app. Okay, so I'm not gonna create because I already created. So I'll just open my existing one to show you guys how it looks. So once you create app, um, then we need to work on next step is creating permission set. So everybody created app, able to follow along. So mine is not loading now. Okay, so if I edit, you can see yeah, the basic information is same. The auth uh, settings. Okay, it's enabled. That's why it's not allowing me to do a lot of stuff here. Um, so you can see you'll have option now next once you save it, getting the consumer key and secret key from this tab. We're gonna do that later, but so this is my app looks like once it's created. I hope everyone is created. We can go to the next step. All right. Uh, so I'll cancel this. And the next step is basically creating the permission set. Okay. So you're gonna go to permission set section. And then we're gonna create a MCP client server permission set. Okay. So you're gonna hit on the create new, and then just follow these simple steps like creating this MCP client server, and there's some description, and then it doesn't have a lot of additional settings. It's just a one space holder where we can assign accordingly. So, so just put some details and then create it. Okay, so once you create, next you have to add assignment, like add your user, like that epic org farm in that permission set. So I already did that. I'm not, that's why I'm not creating, going to create one, but you can follow along steps and let me know if any issues or concerns here. So this is my permission set, and if you go to assignment, you'll see I've added one user, which is my org from epic. Okay, so meaning um, this permission set will have some privilege. We need to attach that to the external app. Okay, so that's we're gonna go to and next step. So now we created app, we created permission set, and in permission set we created added some user. So whoever the user has that permission set, he gets some XYZ access. And now we're gonna sell whoever has this permission set, they can access through this app. That's the next step we're gonna do. Okay, so there's a link between all those things. And the next thing is basically updating this some of the settings on the external client app. So you're going to go to your app again, click on this workshop app, just the one which you created. Okay, and then edit policies. Okay, so that's the step we want. So under policy you will see bunch of data is open. So here uh, on the permission set section, you need to attach this permission set here. Okay, so there are a number of ways you can do how you want to expose this out, like based on profile or based on permission set. So we are doing permission set. Okay, so now my user has some permission set, and that permission set is allowed to use this app which I created. So that's how security works behind the scene. Okay, so that's the only change here. And then save it, save your app again.
So on this page, it is asking for OAuth start URL. Just below this,
Yeah, for the next setup.
yeah, selected permission set MCP is selected. Just below that, there is the OAuth policies. Little bit below that, OAuth policies, and here I selected admin approved users and
Yeah, you can leave this blank. You don't have to put anything there.
it's mandatory complete this page. It is showing.
No,
Okay,
it's not mandatory.
it's not allowing you to save it without that.
You can come out and try again. Come out and try again.
Admin approved user for are
Pre-authorized, yeah.
Yeah. Then I have this mandatory page.
So um, I think this is the next step we have somewhere. So have you done with the policies update, Sandeep? Everybody done with the policy updates? Okay, so we updated permission set there. Now let's go to the next steps here. So permission set is done, save, and then now we are talking about OAuth settings. Okay, so we need to get this consumer key and secret key. So we, I don't know where was the step. Did I miss the step here? Admin approved. Yeah, okay. So I missed the step here. So going back to the steps here. Um, so before permission set update, there's a step which Sandeep is trying to do. This permitted users is basically all users or admin approved users. Okay, so we updated this one. Now you need to go a little down here, OAuth policies on the same screen, and then select this admin approved users are pre-authorized. Okay, so that means whoever in that permission set, they will automatically get approval. They'll get just prompts like when you actually do the handshake, but you don't need to add them explicitly. Okay, so everybody's here, everybody's done. So this is Sandeep, this OAuth start URL is optional, I guess. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right. So these are the steps where our app is ready, and now all you need is basically the consumer key and secret key. Okay. So how are you gonna get that? You're gonna go back again here. Oops. Settings. Yeah. Oops. So copy those details somewhere. That will be handy because the playground which we're gonna use, it keeps expiring, or maybe yeah, I mean not expiring, but the session gets expiring. Come on. So yeah, under setting, go to OAuth settings and click on this one. So this will bring you the oops. Yeah, that's why you need an email address verification.
Where is this OAuth settings section? I'm not able to find it.
Yeah, so on top you go to settings.
Okay.
Instead of policies, you go to settings, and then you'll see OAuth settings. Okay, so you'll see the screen where you can copy the secret and key. Okay, and then that's pretty much done. But before that, you need to activate this app. So you're gonna go back and basically remind later. So you have to enable this. So go to, okay. So I think the next step is activate the Salesforce hosted MCP servers. Okay. So we're gonna now, everybody done with the app? All good? All right, great. So we'll go to the MCP servers and we're gonna activate few MCP servers and then we're gonna consume those into the playground. Okay. So you go to setup again, back to the same screen, and go to MCP servers, and then under MCP servers, so there are two tabs here: external servers and MCP servers. Okay, so this is Salesforce hosted MCP servers. You can create new, you can add more. We're gonna create new a next step, but for now we're gonna use the existing ones. So these are the existing ones, right? You can see there's few already activated. So you're gonna do the same. Okay, so you're gonna go here. You'll see all those Salesforce hosted MCP servers, and then you're gonna go one by one from the list. Okay, so you need to basically click on those. For example, this sub S object all. You're gonna click on those, and then you're gonna activate those. Okay, so you will have option deactivate and activate. Mine is activated, that's why it's in deactivate, but you need to activate those. So there are three of those here. One is the S object all, and then one is a Salesforce API context, and then the last one is a metadata experts. Okay, so click on each, activate, come back to the same screen, go back, and so you have to do 3 times. Any issues, let me know. So that comprises our first exercise, like setting up our access through the external app, enabling some MCP servers, and that's pretty much it now. So we're going to use this whole setup to test into the playground. So playground is like nothing but kind of agent, Salesforce hosted agent. You can do the same with a cloud or all those kind of external agents, right? So that's the idea, but we're going to use the Salesforce hosted agent to interact with this MCP servers and see how that gonna help us. Okay, everybody is good. All right. So let's click on the next one. Online. Any questions? I haven't checked online, folks, but any questions? Just unmute yourself and. Oh, Neha, you're getting error. Uh, are you able to resolve the error, Neha? Okay, good. Okay, yeah, I'm actually having one screen and hopping between. So if any issues, just unmute yourself and speak directly. Okay, thank you. Okay, so next one is test MCP server. So on this screen you'll have this headless 360 playground, which is the a kind of agent. So I'm gonna copy this link and open into another tab here, so I don't have to shuffle on the screens. Okay, so it is asking access code, same access code workshop, you have to add it here. Okay, and you enter to the playground. Okay, so the very first thing is you have to connect this playground to some Salesforce org. Okay, and that's where we're gonna do the org which you are so far doing some configuration. We're gonna basically use that. Okay, so you guys need water or any drinks? We can, I have in the car, we can bring you those. What's time? It's 6:39. Okay.
When I click this headless 360 playground,
Mm.
it is saying that enter your access code.
Yeah, workshop. It's the same access code. Okay. So now you're gonna put the instance URL, which is the your instance URL from your instance, your domain. So you need to capture that. Go back to your so go to my domain in your setup, and then you'll be able to find that domain. So you can see that on top, but let's copy the exact one. Come on. Okay, so you need a basically my domain URL. Okay, so current my domain URL, this one, the URL I'm gonna copy, and I'm gonna just paste it here after HTTPS. Okay, so this is how looks my instance URL. Okay, so, and then I need this key, this consumer key, and then I have this secret key, and then I'm gonna connect my org. So mine is already previously connected, so that's why it didn't prompt me allow or authorize that. But for you guys, it will prompt you since you are sharing your data to external system. Then you have to authorize and click a couple more clicks. Okay, so your playground is ready. It's connected, all good. So we're gonna go back to now.
It's actually failing.
It's failing for you. So did you go? I mean, capture your instance URL correctly? The you
What app user is not admin approved to access this app.
So have you added yourself into permission set? Have you added that permission set into the OAuth app?
Yes, I did that, but let me check it once.
Yeah. So I think one of the place you might be missing that. Yeah, you guys can feel free to try the prompts in the next.
Under external, under policies, you see this external.
Okay. So yeah, that's our test. So he did add himself into permission set. So the though he was not, I mean, the playground was not able to connect to the.
It's now connected.
Yeah, good. Okay, so everybody's connected. All good. So now next steps are pretty easy. All you just try to put prompts, but you need to understand what is going on. So I'll try my best to explain, but you can try it later, see how it's working and why they're talking with that. So there are a lot of insights on that. Okay. So now next we're gonna go to the servers tab here, and that's where. Okay. So you see this some servers are appearing here, right? So those are part of this uh, MCP servers through our connection from the that instance. Okay, and if you add custom, it will appear here, and you can include that. Uh, so the next step is basically add a couple MCP servers and then test it. Okay, so we're saying to add this one all. Um, Yeah, so quick fill, click that and add. So the one added here, s object all, and then second one is API context. Okay, yeah. So these two added. Okay, so here you will see a test button here, just to quick test on that. So after adding, so shows as active, and there's a test to inspect those tools, right, to verify connection. Okay, so I can try this test. So it will make sure it's working. Okay, this is, yeah, able to connect. It is bringing all those tools as part of that. So it's good. The second one, so if there's issue, like let's say you create your own MCP server and there's some issue trying to expose it out, and you have some mistakes, and then you try to connect and it will fail, so you'll get some errors. So okay, so this part is okay. This is just adding two active servers here, and now since we have this, so we can go back to the chat. So chat tab here, on the top you see the chat tab. So you will see kind of a, this is Salesforce interface, right? So you'll see yeah, so yeah, we'll add that. So that's the next step. You'll see here, you have to add those here. Okay, that's the step. But we're gonna select only API context, all the tools from API context, right? So, and then you see 6 of them updated here out of 17. And when we add a prompt, so you're going to use only those. Okay, you try to add a prompt which doesn't have and loaded those, then it will not work. I mean, that's high level, but pretty much here, they have given a prompt, what Salesforce object. So basically, let me copy here. So what Salesforce objects and fields are most relevant for the understanding Sales Cloud activity? Okay, for this org. So that's the first prompt. So it is going to use the metadata to context. It's going to go through the objects, standard objects, custom objects, and which is part of Sales Cloud activities. And basically, it is going to just to bring up the whole structure from the account, lead, opportunity, campaign, and it will try to explain you. So okay, so let's try this prompt while I'm talking. So, and there are a couple more prompts here which will be basically going deep down onto the fields and the objects and then the usage in there. Okay, it's taking a while. um, okay, so you can see it started getting the data. So we asked like about the fields and objects most relevant for Sales Cloud. So account, and then within account you can see the number of fields which is the most relevant. It's bringing up. Same for the contact, same for the lead. So now you don't have to go to the object and query and find out. So you just put a prompt and it give you. So you can utilize it for your number of ways for the design or maybe built out or whatever it is. So overall, it is giving a relationship map as well, and some key considerations on the top of it. Okay, so that's our first prompt. Everybody is able to execute their prompt. Okay, so the next prompt is again asking to describe key fields on account and these same objects, and call out field that help um, explain the some of the partner attributes, pipeline attributes, health, and then some of the other criterias. So we're going to try that as well. So right now, I mean, we're just using the kind of agent which is interacting with Salesforce metadata through the prompts. And when the prompt goes, so the MCP server, which is like a kind of API, but it's with a context, so it knows what, who, how, And so that MCP server which we are using here in the that six of those, so that is, it knows, like if somebody is asking me in plain English, so how to bake that into the query, which query to fire, how to get the data and bring it back with the rich text. So that's the MCP server's job it's doing. Okay, but behind the scene it is using some underlying LLMs and all those things to, combining and translating and all those things. So okay, uh, so lots of fields here, from each of the objects you can see with a lot of details here. So that's our prompt is working. Okay, so now next steps in the same exercise is, it's more on uh, kind of using this object all server, which is going to expose record operations, right? Like it will read, summarize the live data from your org. So far we just talk about objects and fields. The next set is basically is gonna read the data, it can summarize, it can act on the data, it can create something, update something. So that's the next set of prompts. So let's copy this prompt. So this prompt is basically show me sample accounts by specific state, industry, some criteria here. And again, it's calling this some of the tooling API context, which has number of steps inside. A real quick check on here. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you guys online. Okay. So now you can see the prompt started querying based on the our prompt. It is basically built a SOQL query, and it tries to execute that query. So again, I can execute SOQL again. So it's basically asking me permission. You want to execute, or I can execute. Um, so we can ask that. That's fine, but it is just one step ahead. Okay, so we don't want to make so many calls and so many queries, and also, so most of the, if you have done like our wage enforce vibes, like a that workshop, right? So every time it is asking me to approve, do you want to deploy, do you want to do this, save this? So that's a different way, but you can bypass some of those things, settings. So next, I mean, I will not execute anything here, but I'll say, hey, find large Nevada accounts with active pipeline. So that's the query I want. So let's see. So you can summarize for me. So this is exactly kind of a use case we are building in a Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. Instead of using this Salesforce Playground, we are having Copilot company-wide licenses, and we are bringing the Salesforce data there to do this. So summarization, getting insights of opportunities, and all those things. So, okay. So again, this is okay. All right. So I think we missed something. That's why it's not working. So I think we need to add this one. Okay. So far we only added metadata. That's what it was, just giving me queries. So we forgot to add this S object all, which is going to do the operation. Now if I do the same, right? Okay. So that's my bot. So let's try this prompt again. So it will spit up the data now. Okay. So so earlier we didn't it didn't had that MCP server to do in that context operation and data. They was just saying, okay, this is a query, run yourself on the console or workbench and all. Now it's gonna using that other tool, it's gonna do that part as well. Okay, so that's a good test. Okay, and then I'll copy this next. Yeah, now we'll see most of the data interactions. Okay.
It's also specifying what server it is using, right? Except records.
Yeah, I mean, so this MCP server tool has multiple contexts, right? So it is trying to pick which one or not. And again, behind the scene, there are a lot of logging, tracing behind. So if you want to understand what been used, how it's been used, so there are all those details are there inside. Come on. So probably I'll not run all the prompts. We'll just show one how the data spits out here, and then we'll jump onto the mostly. So again, on the left side, you can see the examples are like querying the data, then asking for specific account. So you can see that now we are seeing the data, right, in structured format. So this is our query for 25 accounts across 9 states, and then if you prompt for this largest kind of employee count and active open opportunity, so you can pretty much do a lot here. And again, even you can ask for creating some charts, um, and render in a different style, and you can generate a PDF summary, like a PDF document. So I'll not run all the things. You can experiment your own. But the, the the MCP tools which we enabled first, it was more on the metadata. The second one, which is more on the operations on the data, live data, and you can basically slice and dice data. The reporting you wanted, right? Reporting stuff. You can get those chart or data, and then you can create a PDF out of it for your usage. So those are the use cases here. Okay, so I'll not go each and every. You can experiment your own. But if you have any questions, I'll pause here. We can talk, chat, or maybe answer your queries. How's everything going on online? Yeah, maybe a couple thumbs up will help me. Thank you, Neha. Okay.
One more thing. So now we are using a subject object. So we are fetching the data. Can we update the data in any record?
Yeah. So this operation is pretty much like query or update and all. And then next exercise is more on you can enable some actions, right? Apex actions. So through this, you can call some flow, create some tasks, update some activities on opportunity. So we're gonna do that through the prompt, but using the workflows or flows or whatever the automation we have. So we are basically looking at the MCP servers, which is one is interacting with the metadata, one is interacting with the data, and third is one is a process, right? That's the next part where process like a flow or any Apex driven logic. So it's gonna drive that. Okay.
Use as a subject or MCP server, you can just simply ask the prompt
Yeah.
to update anything on the records.
Yeah. So far you see there's 17 tools, and out of those 17, we enabled all 17. Okay, which is mainly doing two operations here. Okay, so now we're gonna create our own MCP server, which will have this process, which is gonna do some automation stuff. Okay, so next exercise is we're gonna go back to our org, go back to setup, and create our own custom MCP server. Okay, and which is going to use some flows and all the stuff. Okay, so I'll hop on back to the our org, and then I'll go to the MCP servers.
What's the difference between what the one you create now and then custom? Is there any
Sorry, cloud.
the MCP just server we just created and now we are going to create a custom
So
one?
we didn't create MCP servers. We use Salesforce hosted MCP servers.
Yeah, yeah.
So Salesforce has their enabled
Out of the box.
out of the box so many MCP tools, which is going to, I mean, all the basic, right, metadata data, all the operations, they have enabled it for the deployment and all everything. Now we want our own MCP server, which agent will understand my prompt and act using this MCP server, using my context, right? So basically, you'll see there's a one flow which is going to create a maybe follow-up activity, check few things. So we're gonna trigger that as part of this context. So that's a custom one. So we are building our custom, so you can create all those custom based on use case, and you can pretty much embed your uh, the automation there, flow or Apex kind of work there. Okay, so that's the next part.
I have one more question. We are using the Salesforce MCP servers as well as now custom one within the Salesforce.
Within the Salesforce, using the Salesforce process only.
Do you also have external MCP servers that we can integrate with third party?
Yes, so here you can see external servers, right? You can add those, and you can basically utilize those. You have to register and utilize, and once you enable here, you can see using the same external app, it will surface there, and you can use that agent to query those as well.
We can use it from externally from any other place.
Yeah, so you can expose these externally out, or you can, let's say you're going to call DocuSign has some MCP server which you want to use into your agent. So you're going to register that DocuSign MCP server here using external servers. So this will become part of your context, and when you using those external app, it will show all those available, and then you can use your prompts to act your hosted servers or externally hosted, depends on that.
Because there are a lot of tools which are doing a workflow automation, whereas you have market over where we should get leads and then generate those over here. We have multiple products where we want to integrate. So do you offer that kind of integration as well while it's a MCP server?
Yeah, so if your those products are having MCP servers already out there, like the way APIs works, right? So similarly, you see the out of the box Salesforce MCP servers, right? So you can pretty much use into any of those agents. Similarly, if the third party has their MCP server, you can bring it here or you can bring it anywhere and then use into your context.
Bidirectional it's possible.
Yeah, it's in your context, like whichever agent you're using, the agent need to know how to interact, what is the context. It can be within that native system or it can be externally, but you have to set up the authentication and I mean the register, so all the stuff. So but there's a way to do that. I haven't tried that yet. You can explore. Okay, so back to our exercise here. So we're gonna create one MCP server. If you go here on the top, add MCP server, you're gonna click this create MCP server. So you're gonna prompt you the name, so label, name and description. Okay, so that how you're gonna create it. So I already created here mine, so I'll open that. So I'll deactivate for now. Okay, so I can edit. So Yeah, this is the MCP server. You should just put those details and create it. Now, once you create it, then we need to add tools. Okay, so this is just a placeholder now. So now we need to add multiple tools. What are the context you have for this one? What are the data or APIs it's going to interact and all those things? So there are a number of things the way you design this. We're going to do the basic stuff here. So tools, very first tool we're going to do is basically uh, go to tools section here, and then you're going to add tools here. Okay, so go to on top, uh, from the add server assets, that drop down you'll see add tools, and then when you say add tools it will prompt you a different screen, and here on the apex sections you can pretty much, you know, add tools using all these different combinations, which is Salesforce kind of a processes, right? Like you can call apex rest, you can call any aura enabled components, you can call any flows or any prompt templates. So okay, so there are a number of things you can embed here. So we're going to do the flow. You're going to clip the flow, and then you select the flow, which is the account health calculator, which is on top, and then add it. Okay, so that's the number one step, and save the record. Okay, so this is how it looks once you add it, and then we're gonna add more. So we're gonna do the similar steps again. Go back to the add server assets, add tool, and then basically here, okay, so one is the account health check, sorry. uh, yeah, so add server now, add from server. Okay, so the next step is add from server. So this is basically is bringing back the same existing tools from the existing servers. So we're gonna just including to our custom one. Okay, so it's selecting the query one. Query one, where's query? Yeah, I think I added already. So you need to find this as object reads. Yeah, the bottom one, and then add it. So there are two actually. Locate query records and then add. Okay, and click here. So yeah, so here if you go, there's a query records, and then search across objects. Okay, so these two you have to add. All right. Okay, so go to add MCP, add from asset from the MCP server, select the reads, and under this reads, you select this query records and search across objects. Okay, add those and save this again. So you'll see these two more, and there is, okay, activate and copy server URL. Okay, so the last one is later. Okay, that's fine. Okay, for now it's done. So these top three are done, and then we're gonna activate this, and you got the server URL, right? So this is the URL you need. Now you're gonna go back to your playground. Okay, and then you're gonna basically go to servers, and then you're gonna add this server. Okay, so you copied server URL, add it here. You can put name like whatever custom, yeah, I'll just put some name, it's optional, and then add. So you see it's added at bottom here, and if I click test it should work. Yeah, it is working, it is showing everything status, so we're good here. So now we're gonna go back to the chat tab here, and we're gonna try a couple prompts here. Okay, so let me copy this prompt. So the prompt is basically, so it is saying find the account named Arroyo Medical Group and check the account health. Okay, So now to check the account health, it's going to use the account health check calculator, which is the custom flow, which we just added into this tool. It's going to review the report and it for that account and doing bunch of stuff, and it's going to get us a health check for that account. So let's try that. I don't think it will work. Let me stop that. Okay. So again, I think we need to add this here, um, these custom ones. Okay. So we have to enable those tools here before we put the prompt. And then let me try again this prompt. Okay. So we have time till 8 o'clock. But we'll try to wrap up in next 15 minutes at least. Uh, High level, I'll run through the workshop. Then we'll have at least half an hour for the rest of the activities.
I've selected those tools, but it still picks up S object on.
I mean, you can disable those other ones, but you can keep that on. I mean, it's basically we enabled everything, right? Now you can add any prompt.
You will keep trying those multiple
No,
tools.
if you're asking some specific query related stuff, it will do that.
It's the same query, find
Yeah.
department.
First it will fetch data using that, but again it will go to the custom tooling for calculation
Yeah.
because fetching it is using.
We will try
But
multiple
in that customer, we added query and all those things. So even if you disable, it should work. Okay. So it's taking a long time.
even in your case as well, if you went to this S object on, you can keep that custom.
Okay. So basically, this one is doing some actions. It is running that flow and getting most of the data and trying to give health check. And the next prompt here is basically create a sync meeting for the account. So it is going to create it's going to trigger the custom apex action, create account sync meeting. I don't think we added this earlier, but that will create a activity on that account. So I mean, just understanding the theme, this is the process, right, where you're asking prompt to do some actions using your existing flows. Okay. All right. So you can see it's running this account health check.
On the second prompt, it is asking for the contacts, duration, subject line.
Yeah. So this is the health check. We got health check report for that. Okay. So I think I will not try more. It is taking time, but at least you got the idea, right? We talked about metadata, data, and the action. So these three themes we covered. Um, so I'll quickly walk through Agentforce vibes. I probably will not do a lot of stuff here. You can try your own. It's pretty straightforward, but the basic stuff is important. So to get this Agentforce vibes working on your machine, you should have your CLIs, all those things installed already. So the way you install the Visual Code, Visual Studio Code, right, and then enable everything. So you need those on your machine. That's number one. Otherwise, if you try this in browser, it will not work. It will complain for this and that. Okay. So that's what I bring my personal laptop. My work laptop didn't allow me to do a lot of things, so it was failing. Um, all right. So basically, Agent for Vibes is their new enterprise grade coding environment, which is like a context aware, AI powered IDE. It can turn natural language into working Salesforce applications. A lot of it. So we have seen this before in parts. Now it's like coming as an ID. Okay, so high level we're gonna just see how it looks like, what are the things you can do, where you can basically set up few things, and how you can interact with the IDE. So the very first exercise, launch and explore the ID, the vibe. So basically how, where is what, look and feel wise, and skill set is where defined, the MCP servers where defined, rules are where defined, so all the navigation. Okay, so again, going back here, simply you go to your org and then you launch the agent for vibes from here. Okay, so it will take a while to set up this, run this, initialize all the things. And if you have all the tools on your machine, like a CLI and which requires to run the SFDX, which requires to connect to the org, those are pretty much install on your system, then it will launch flawlessly. Okay, so I did that before. That's why it might load quickly. So the number one step is basically open it, and you'll see this ID in the browser. So you can see it's still painting here, but uh, and you'll see some prompts. Once you see the prompt, you enable and start. If you don't have, like, in your org, you have to enable the Einstein for the code, and there are a bunch of settings you have to add your permissions, licenses for these type of things. So for this org, everything is enabled. But if you're doing in your org, then you need to do some prep work. Okay, all right, it's taking forever. um, but if you have worked on the Visual Studio Code, it's pretty much same. Like if you go to the command palette, you can do number of actions, right? Connecting to the org, fetching the data, pushing that. Maybe similarly, now you see more stuff in that command palette. So SFDX is the one tool which you interact for most of the deployment and pushing and pulling the data. But you'll see these agent force wipes commands as one part, SFDX commands, lightning preview. So whenever you interact and it creates something, so you can quickly preview that in the same ID. You don't have to open or launch and all. So those are the some tools you see here. Okay, so mine is launched. It's pretty much same what we see in Visual Studio Code, like it's an Explorer, and then this is your Arc Cloud. So once it's connected, you will see my org is connected. So that's why everything should be working flawlessly. But let's go to the vibe. Okay, so you will see different prompt here. Like here you can see this prompt. It is asking to enable and start, right? We have to click that and it will spin up everything. It will do number of checks. So okay, where is that toolkit? Yeah, so these is like it will check one by one and make sure everything, and it will give you status, it's ready. Okay, so we'll go through just the UI and look and feel and all the things. So this is like uh, I was talking about command palette. So command palette, you can open up command palette, is like a command shift P. So now you'll see the number of commands, right? Which is the AFDX, which is for agent force. Then the SFDX, which is the SFDX commands, which was we're using for most of the deployment and all. And then the lightning preview also here. So lightning preview, those are part of SFDX. But a number of things you can fire up here and try out those. Uh, and then we'll go back to here, agent force. Okay, so this is all talking about what you see here, what you see here, what you can do, what you see in the command palette, what are the things you can do. But we'll go more on this part here, agent force vibes. uh, yeah, so let's keep this here. So yeah, explore the agent for vibes. Okay, So on this section, you'll see um, so which model is basically is being used, right? So you can switch between model, Sonnet, Opus, or GPT. So there's options here. You can switch between those. Um, there's a next exercise which talks about plans. Before acting, you make a plan and all those things. So we probably don't have time to go through that, but I will just explore how the agent for vibes works and where you can configure it. Okay, so uh, so now we'll go to this settings here. Okay, so settings has some actions as part of workshop. So first thing is you need to make sure select your model and plan mode is on and off. Okay, so we selected model already, but in setting here, so there are two sessions, right? Default. So every time, ask every time. So any action the prompt is going to take, it's going to ask every time before saving the file, before creating the file or deploying. So we're saying bypass and trust all and just do it. Okay, just for sake of exercise. So that's the one change we are doing here. um, and the next is, I guess, AI provider, which is a Salesforce Trust API that is already active. So those are the few things we have to do before you try something. And then under manage here, let's go back here, and under manage here, under toolkit, so you see number of actions here, right? So MCP server, skills, rules, and commands. Okay, so each one serves different purpose. So MCP server, the tools which is going to interact with the Salesforce metadata and all. So those are pretty much configured here, right? um, so metadata and API command and the SFDX, those are pre-built one. If you have your own to trigger some flows and all, you can build it here, bring it here, add those servers. uh, the skills, basically, now skills is a big topic. If you understand what skills is, from the cloud perspective, from the AI perspective, so skills going to help you to drive most of your features, uh, while it's the code is developed using the AI. So it has a context, it has a, okay, if I'm asking to do XYZ, and so it's going to use pick up that skill set based on the your prompt and your scenario or your domain, and it will create structure, or maybe that whole application based on that skill set which you define in your system. So you see there are number of skills here already um baked in here. So those are standard. So whenever you do some deployment activity, it's going to utilize those and try to get it more accurate. Okay, so those are the skill sets we can activate here. Rules are there like instructions. So when you write a code, you might need some formatting, you might need some pattern, the coding standards and all those things. So those are the rules, instructions you're gonna you know put it here. You can modify those high level. So those are the rules. And uh, and then last is the commands. So specific actions to run. Okay, so there's nothing here in command. So again, this is something you need to set up based on your environment, your needs, and all those things as you learn. So that way, vibe will be more accurate, more uh, productive. Otherwise, you just see a lot of code and might not be here and there. Okay, so again, yeah, it's asking to perform update. So I did mine. So simply you just go to your terminal here, and then type this command here. So it will make sure our CLI is update, everything is update. And so you might have seen these yeah, extensions, right? So these are the extensions which gets added to enable the SFDX, enable the vibe and all the things. So simply Visual Studio is Visual Studio Code is like just a playground, but you embed those, and then it works along with it. Okay, so I think that's the high level of vibes, how it works. So next is basically, it is going to create one exercise where you basically create a pipeline health widget. So the number of prompts here. um, so we need to understand what it's trying to do, and then what it's trying to build, and step by step, and then deploy. So this is like a kind of a use case they are trying to build using vibe coding. So it's first is going to create some formula, and then it is going to create some um additional kind of record page, and then finally create a like a that widget which we are talking about here. So there are lot of steps here. um, I will not go through each and every, but I would encourage you to try it out. And if any questions, issues, yeah, always connect on our WhatsApp group, or just ask people around. So, and there are a lot of videos on this, like I mean, I covered part of it. There are other communities running for this 3 hours, going very deep dive. There are a lot of virtual workshops coming from Salesforce as well. I will post those whenever it's up. Then you can follow along there, have more insights. But yeah, I mean, again, here is a dashboard. Yeah, they're creating one dashboard through this whole vibe coding using the plan. So that's what I was talking about. The plan is another tab here. Oops.
I was asking this question initially. I wanted to build a reporting dashboard. Maybe I can actually.
Yeah, this is mainly like a admins usually do that. So now this vibe code is going to help you to do that. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking more on the analytic part. You're asking about admin role. Okay, so I think that's it. I just wanted to cover today. Hope you guys follow along, get some knowledge, some understanding. uh, let's go back to the online here. All right. So thank you guys hanging around for almost 2 hours. Really appreciate hanging out and just following along. Any questions online? Any thoughts? Yeah, I'll just keep it open for a few minutes. All right. So nothing. Then again, appreciate your patience, and connect with your our community. So when you signed up, you might see our community page. So you'll get follow-up communications. So we usually host monthly, quarterly, depends on the time, but we'll try to bring more content like this. um, okay, so I'll close the online meeting, so we'll have some small networking stuff here. Okay, thank you guys online. All right, stop.